Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black at Night show. Wow. I remember growing up thinking that the world could end any moment. I remember growing up, whenever there was a plane flying overhead, there'd be this sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach like, is this the big one? Some of you are old enough to know exactly what I'm talking about because you grew up in an age as I did where things were very uncertain. The idea of there being a nuclear war was real to us. We felt it. It was in the movies that we watched. It was in our music. It was in our consciousness as citizens of the United States. This was real to us. And then came the 2000s. And the shift began to, well, we're not so much worried about nuclear war. We're just worried about America killing everybody in its way from getting oil. At least that's what the predominant fear was. It was just that is America just going to bully the rest of the planet to get what it wants? And we were less concerned about, waking up or never waking up. So now we are here, 2018, and we are being revisited the same feelings of catastrophe, global catastrophe, annihilation, extermination, Armageddon. Russia, United States. Two superpowers. Well, one superpower, so they say, and another not so superpower, but nuclear ready, nuclear capable, and definitely nuclear charged. So, with the ongoing beef regarding Syria, the ongoing message that we need to protect the world. We need to protect the world from its leaders. We need to step in and spread democracy by stopping a leader who we say did bad things to his people. Here we are, guys. We're here. We are back again. I'm pretty sure everybody that's out there, we got people out on Facebook, people on Periscope, people on Twitch, people, I'm missing a platform. Facebook. Oh, I got people on YouTube too. My small YouTube channel, if you're in the house. You're in the house. I appreciate y'all being out there, man. Good to see you. I can't actually see you, but I know you're out there. Thank you for tuning in to the Tim Black at Night show. Tonight's show is dedicated to Donald Trump. Tonight's show is dedicated to a nuclear possibility that could happen. It's dedicated to Syria, Russia, the United States. And what does it mean? And is there a real threat to nuclear war? So that's what we'll talk about. Facebook people, if you're out there, we got some people out there. There we go. We got people on Facebook. That's what I'm talking about. Tonight's show is brought to you by fuck your wars and your presidents. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Fuck your wars and your presidents. Over at the TTL Media Store, we got some items put together by my man Momo Pineno. We've also, we got several items actually. See if I can grab this here. And here we go. The F your wars and your presidents. I don't want to keep using the expletive. We don't use it on the shirt. You got an asterisk. Because you know how we feel about it. And we just put in these two items, the water bottle and the coffee mug. So pick that up if you're interested and let the world know that you support peace, not war. I hope you support peace, not war. All right, so we got a couple of articles we want to cover because people want to know. I'm sure some of you young people out there, this is new for you, You didn't think about a nuclear war. Now, you know we've been at war. War is nothing new to the United States. We've been at war every day of Obama's presidency. So being at war is never a problem for the United States. In fact, both parties are A-OK, generally speaking. I'm not talking about every single person in every single major party, but generally speaking, the modus operandi of the Republican Party and of the Democratic Party is war is good. And why is that? Because war makes money. Now, it doesn't make you and I any money, but it makes defense contractors a lot of money, which makes lobbyists a lot of money, which grease the palms of politicians. And a lot of our politicians go on to work for who? Defense contractors. Same goes for other industries. But yeah, the war industry, our military industrial complex, they love war or the threat of war. Is it war or is it the threat of war, ladies and gentlemen? That's what you got to think about. That's what we want to come up on. But okay. U.S. is concerned about triggering a wider war as it weighs strike on Syria. As the White House weighs a potential strike on Syria, a key concern in preventing the country's civil war from escalating out of control is what they are facing. This is Defense Secretary Jim Mad Dog Mattis. Mattis said a decision had not been made about whether or how to strike Syrian President Bashar Assad's regime, which is accused of launching a chemical attack that killed dozens of people last weekend. Decisions will be made fairly soon. President Trump said, "It's too bad that the world puts us in a position like that." Now, if you've been on social media the last couple of days, you will see an undercurrent of pushback on the whole idea that Assad had anything to do with this chemical attack. In fact, I was having a conversation earlier this afternoon with my friend Momo Pineno. Momo, give it up for Momo. And he was remarking how he was speaking to a friend in his neck of the woods there in Georgia about the earlier chemical attack that took place and how Trump responded to that, or the U.S. responded. And the person he was talking to had no idea what Momo was even referring to. Momo was like, "Hey, don't you remember that oil field, the airplane field, the plane field that we blew up?" The person was like, "No, I have no idea what you're talking about." That's because war is no big deal to the United States. So we've been here before, and the earlier attack, the missile attack, American attack on the Syrian airbase was due to what? It was because there was an allegation that Assad had performed a chemical attack on his own people. And of course, we had to do something about this alleged attack preemptively before allowing the UN investigators to go in and confirm that there was even an attack launched that there was an attack, and that the attack, if so, was actually carried out by Assad. Turns out, not so much. No evidence to that fact. And here we go again. Bill Murray starred in a movie called Groundhog's Day. And this seems a little Groundhog's Day-ish, don't it? But let's keep going. Get ready, Russia. Get ready, Russia. Because they will be coming. Nice and new and smart. Now, that's what Donald Trump tweeted out. Because Russia says that they will shoot down any missiles that hit Syrian airspace. Which also brings to mind the whole idea that Hillary Clinton, a lot of us were so opposed to Hillary, not just because we didn't trust the word that came from her mouth, but also because she was downright, very openly championing for a no-fly zone over Syria, which we felt would almost surely definitely bring us to war with Russia. And now it appears that Donald Trump may have different rhetoric, may bring us to war under different circumstances, but war is war at the end of the day, isn't it? Trump went on to tweet to say that, Russia, get ready because there will be They will be coming, referring to our missiles, nice and new and smart. You shouldn't be partners with a gas-killing animal who kills his people and enjoys it. I got all types of problems with that statement. All types of problems with that statement, ladies and gentlemen. We haven't confirmed if he's a gas-killing animal who kills his people. And we certainly haven't confirmed if he's a gas-killing animal who kills his people and enjoys it. As if there would be a distinction. I submit to you, folks, that that would be a distinction without a difference. Who gives a shit if he likes it? You kill my friends. I don't care if you enjoyed it or not. Who cares about that? Another throwaway line. And I know I got Trump people out there now. Why are you picking on Trump? Hey, he should send out better tweets. Okay? He should send out better tweets. Stop defending the indefensible. I didn't do that for Obama. Why do you do that for Trump so much? You know, it's really getting old, okay? Guys, God, this makes no sense. Okay. The United States is attempting to calibrate its response. Earlier, Trump softened his rhetoric, never said when an attack on Syria would take place. Okay. Now, I think we need to back up. Russia and Iran back Assad's regime in a complicated civil war that has raged for 7 years. Now, we do know that. We do know Russia is supporting Syria in the civil war where they are trying to defeat ISIS, who we're supposed to want destroyed. Why we're on the opposite side, why we are against Assad when he's fighting ISIS would seem to make no sense. The United States is attempting to calibrate its response to be strong enough to deal with Assad, to deter Assad from use of chemical weapons without destroying his government. A collapse of the Assad regime could lead to a political vacuum in Syria and a resurgence of the Islamic State. The terror organization has been driven from most of the territory it held in Iraq and in Syria, but pockets of militants remain, and the organization has proved resilient. So, it's pretty simple. If the United States goes in and they send missiles at Syria, if Russia makes true on its claims that they will defend Syria, well, that's how you get an engagement between Russia and the United States. Now, this is something I think neither country wants. But let's keep going. So now we understand where we are. Now, there's a little, I think we should put this in more context because I don't want to be dismissive of these attacks that have happened so far. Pompeo confirms a couple hundred Russians were killed in Syria during our last missile strike. Secretary of State nominee Mike Pompeo pointed Thursday to the U.S. military killing a couple hundred Russians in Syria as evidence of the Trump administration's toughness on Moscow. A handful of weeks ago, the Russians met their match. A couple hundred Russians were killed, Pompeo told the Senate Foreign Relations Committee during his confirmation hearing. The comment from Pompeo, currently the CIA director, appears to be the first time a U.S. official has publicly confirmed that Russians were killed as part of a U.S. strike in Deir al-Zor province. And the first time an administration official has cited the incident to defend President Trump's Russian source. In February, U.S. forces struck what the Pentagon described as pro-Syrian regime forces after an unprovoked attack on the U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces. At the time, the Pentagon repeatedly declined to confirm the composition of the pro-regime forces involved in the incident. So, just so we're clear, in February, U.S. forces struck what the Pentagon described as a pro-Syrian regime forces after an unprovoked attack on the U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces. This was not reported. Was it reported and I missed it? Did you catch it? I had no idea that this is what we did. Reports citing U.S. unnamed officials said that the scores of Russian mercenaries were killed and injured. Russia later conceded that several dozens of its citizens were injured and an unspecified number killed, though it insisted that its military was not involved at all. Pro-regime forces and the U.S.-backed forces have been converging in the Middle East or the Euphrates River Valley, where the last remaining pockets of Islamic State in Iraq and Syria fighters are. The U.S. and Russia have agreed to deconflict the area by having each of its forces stay on separate sides of the Euphrates River. So obviously there's high tensions between the U.S. and with Russia, only further exacerbated by this latest stream of events. Now, you got to bear in mind that, once again, there is no evidence. We're waiting on evidence. Now, there are reports that France has evidence that Assad launched a chemical attack. I'm waiting on that evidence. Anybody in Facebook have that evidence? Anybody can link me up to the evidence that France says they have that will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Assad is waging chemical attacks on his own people? Now, the next question is, wouldn't this be a UN issue if that was true? Wouldn't it be up to the UN? Wouldn't it be a League of Nations to answer to this war crime if that was the case, not just the United States? Even if you're right, why is it just the United States moving unilaterally to attack Syria? Now, Donald Trump says his decision to attack Syria will be made fairly soon. He told reporters that he and his team were looking very seriously at the situation, but he has not made that decision yet. Moscow's UN envoy, excuse me if I get the pronunciation wrong here, Vasily Nebenzia, said he cannot exclude the possibility of a war between Russia and the U.S. The rhetoric was hot, folks. On Thursday, French President Emmanuel Macron said he had proof that the Syrian government had attacked Douma with chemical weapons. NUA cabinet ministers agreed on the need to take action in Syria to deter the further use of chemical weapons, the office of Prime Minister Theresa May said. Now, Mrs. May spoke with President Trump late on Thursday, and they agreed to keep working closely on the issue. The White House says Mr. Trump, or President Trump, will also speak to his French counterpart. The UN Security Council is to hold an emergency meeting later to discuss the crisis. So, now this is from the BBC. The BBC has done some good reporting on where we are to kind of bring us all up to speed. I'm waiting to see if we got a real anti-war movement in this country, on the left and the right. I do believe that does exist. It may need to show its head and get in the streets and be as active as they are when they are, I don't know, fighting for tiki lamps, or if they are fighting with pussy hats. I'm just saying. We can march for a Me Too movement. We can march to keep guns, right? We can't march to keep people alive? Or is it just because they're in another country we don't give a flying damn? Now, some say that there's a very small amount of danger in the situation of us actually going to war with Russia over Syria. I suspect neither side wants a direct confrontation, but when things go flash bang, there are always surprises and unintended consequences. If President Trump decides to strike Syria, he might incur some unintended consequences, like increasing the risk of getting into a shooting war with Russia. On Tuesday night, Russian ambassador to Lebanon said the Russian military could shoot down any missiles launched at Syria and even retaliate against the planes or ships that fired the weapons. Trump responded to the threat following morning, egging Russia on with his characteristic bravado, which is we got smart, fast missiles, okay? I don't know. It's important to know that both Russia and the U.S. seem to want to de-escalate the situation. Washington and Moscow have had some close calls in Syria, but so far they have avoided a serious altercation. Almost exactly 1 year ago, Trump launched a military strike on Syria in response to an Assad-ordered chemical attack, alleged a chemical attack. And for the record, Vox. Oh, God. Sorry, guys. That's from Vox.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Let's just put a bow on this real quickly for anyone out there. As I know I have people out there who are going to sleep not so soundly the next couple of days. This is in the back of your heads. It's bringing down the quality of life. People are concerned. They have not lived with the threat of war. And what I'm telling you is this is not new. We've been at war for the last 8 years. I feel that we are no more in a risk for war than we were 6 years ago or 2 years ago. I believe the United States is more interested in the appearance or the threat of war than it's interested in war. See, to spend military dollars, when we just increased the budget, $700 billion or more than was even allocated or asked for by the Trump administration to arm America. So America doesn't need to go to war to make money. We can just have a fear of war. It's enough to increase budgets, to order spending, to sell more nukes or sell more missiles, to buy more planes. That's the point of it all. But it is interesting to see people sort of turn a blind eye to what's happening here. This was the very same situation scenario we were concerned with Hillary Clinton. And now that we find ourselves this way with Donald Trump, and it leads us more to the understanding maybe it doesn't matter who's in the office if they're being run by the same people, if they do the same things. And that's the position Donald Trump is in now, and it's what his actions appear to say. Also, on another unrelated topic, we got the TPP that Donald Trump just blew life back into its lungs after killing it. Another horrible idea that had a lot of bearing on why some people voted for Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton. And now he's talking about, well, maybe we need to get the TPP done. So not only is he taking away the reasons for people to support him, but he's going the neocon direction. Quickly. It's one thing to screw over America. It's another thing to do so without roses, candy, mood music, or a couple dollars on the nightstand. Unless you count your tax breaks. Folks, let me know what you think about Donald Trump. What you think about wars. And what you think about the likelihood of this turning into something much more serious. How far will Donald Trump go to show the swagger? You know, the old George Bush swagger. Nobody messes with us type swagger with Russia. And will that lead to war? I feel it's unlikely at this point. But as someone, once again, who grew up looking in the sky whenever a plane flew by and wondering, is this the day I die? Well, I don't want this for my kids and I don't want it for yours. It influences how you live. It influences how you picture life subconsciously when you have that lurking behind your eyeballs. just behind your dreams and ambitions. But this is also a life that many people on the globe live with every day and have lived with every day. Ours is manufactured, though, by our government. The t-shirt, the sponsor for the day, is the design that I shared with you earlier by my friend Momo Pineno. F your wars and your president. And for me and many people who love peace, who want peace, and who want our soldiers to come home too, remember, these are actual people who could be here doing other things besides preparing to kill. So join us in our efforts to shed light on this crisis of judgment, this crisis of ethics and morality, humanity that's on display here. Go to TBTV.com. You'll find me on Patreon. Become a part of our movement to spread the message, get the word out as we move up to the midterm elections and into 2020. There are some of us who will stand up for what we believe, who will not support a person who takes us to war, who threatens us with war, who has our children wondering if they will be allowed to grow up or live to grow up. It ain't cute, Trump. But of course, we'd rather talk about Stormy Daniels and Bill Cosby, Cardi B. I like Cardi B, though. I like Cardi. She's cute. But we got real issues that need to be dealt with. This is a manufactured issue that needs to go away. I don't believe there will be war. Sleep well, my friends. My name is Tim Black. I see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's show will be Freedom Friday. If you're new to the channel, know that Freedom Friday is where you get to call up. You get to speak your mind. Tell me what you feeling, what's going on, what news you would like to share with the rest of the world, and what your opinions are on what's going on currently. And it's a great show. It'll be on at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll stream on whatever platform you're on now. We'll be right back there tomorrow doing it once again. I'd like to thank all of my Patreons and supporters of this show. This show is not brought to you by the DNC. It's not brought to you by the GOP. It's brought to you by viewers like you who just prefer the truth. And people that said, hey, you know what, that guy Tim Black, I kind of like him. I kind of like to see him keep doing this thing. So here goes a couple of dollars. If you're one of those people, go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live, and join up with Tim Black's Wolfpack. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Shout out to Momo Pineno on the great designs and all my friends and supporters. Just keep your heads up. And remember, don't you let nobody take your cornbread or your sanity.